the charts of SUI versus the top 20 tokens and a whole bunch of other stuff, I don't see anything that looks close to being able to compete with it for the time being. The only things coming are Monad and Berachain. Doesn't mean that Celestia and all this stuff doesn't go up a lot, but it's very difficult to see anything that's going to outperform that chart. In the markets, no, I'm super concentrated. It's the Solana, SUI, and even my memes are all down to two. So I'm hyper concentrated, and then NFTs is my long-term savings bucket. Stuff I want to have for 10 years. And that's it. I'm trying to keep out of trouble. I think it's a really important thing is if you think you've got decently strong narratives, everybody I speak to is saying they're not raising capital right now. Everyone's kind of in that wait and see mode. And people are a bit disheartened, not disenchanted, but disheartened. And I think the RAA networks, the family offices, and some of the institutions, they're really more likely to FOMO in at north of 80,000 Bitcoin. And right now it's rotation. It's a bit of money that went on the sidelines, goes back in. I don't see anything more.
Real Vision CEO Raoul Pal shared his view that SUI acts like it's one of the top picks in the new mainstream channels, or even the one. SUI has seen solid gains since Grayscale began marketing its SUI Trust earlier. Paul wrote that SUI broke its downtrend against Solana and other top 20 tokens, a notable trend. Paul sees potential for SUI but notes its early stage of development. He highlights recent technological advancements like the Mysticeti upgrade, which offers the fastest finality on blockchains, and the upcoming Pilot Fish, which aims for high transaction scalability. He remains cautiously optimistic, acknowledging his dual role as a board member and an investor interested in SUI's future prospects. According to Raoul Pal, your 1K might become 100K with SUI, which has the potential to become the next Solana. Before we move forward, if you want to stay updated with the latest crypto events and news, you can subscribe to our channel and like this video. Now let's get back to Raoul Pal's view on Solana and the overall crypto market.
Is that this might be one of the chosen ones. And the reason being is that the team is world-class. They've built, scalable blockchains suitable for 3 billion people plus. I mean, these guys are world-class. They're a little bit technical. So the narrative was missing, but then started to come alive with narrative. But the reality is they've got the latency of the chain down to 600 milliseconds. They've now just building this Walrus, which is a data storage layer, which is a separate token. But it's like basically AWS on top of, this whole move virtual machine idea. And there'll be, I'm sure, plenty of others, whether it's in gaming or real world assets and other stuff to come. So they're just capturing mind share. Now, don't forget, this is a low free float. And once you capture mind share in a low free float, it outperforms by definition because there's less of it around. You can have the same mind share for ETH. It's not going to go, it's barely going to move. So I know people hate low free floats. You're going to love them in a bull market and hate them again in a bear market because they're just super beta. So I think that's the point to realize. It's also super beta, capturing mind share. They seem to be executing well, and people are looking for the next big trade because as Ovi was talking about, people are kind of like, well, is the Solana trade over? What's the next big one? And so it feels like it's got everything right. I think I don't see what else is going to dominate.
TIA, which has been one of the best performing players in early 2024, had hit an all-time high of US $20.91, a $30.92 in February 2024, but has been on a steady decline ever since. With its launch, Celestia developers introduced modular blockchain technology to the crypto industry, allowing for easy deployment of custom blockchains with minimal overhead. Celestria's modular approach improves scalability and security, allowing for greater experimentation and sovereignty in blockchain development, which differs significantly from the limitations of traditional monolithic blockchains. Paul believes that SUI is showing signs of becoming a major player among new blockchain platforms. He notes that its price chart looks promising and breaks from a pattern that often indicates potential price growth. What stands out to Paul is how SUI is performing better than other major cryptocurrencies, including Solana, even when the broader market isn't doing much. This strength is notable to him. However, Paul notes that SUI is still in its early stages. For it to truly succeed, it needs to prove itself by having high performance and scalable applications built into its platform. He mentions that the total value locked, TVL, on Sui and a recent announcement from Circle are positive signs, but not enough on their own. He sees potential in gaming applications, but believes it's too early to tell. He mentions recent upgrades that have made transactions very fast and suggests future improvements that could make Sui even faster than Solana's next upgrade. According to Paul, the team behind Sui, Miston Labs, aims to rebuild the internet for Web3, creating a platform that could potentially handle billions of users. He mentions features like easy connections and upcoming data storage solutions, but again, he emphasizes that it's still in the early days for Sui. Sui Network is poised to become the next major Layer 1 blockchain powerhouse after Solana. He highlights the revolutionary technology that sets Sui apart, though he warns of specific tokenomic challenges that potential investors should be aware of. Overall, Sui Network stands out as a major player to watch in the changing blockchain landscape. Paul believes that Bitcoin is gearing up for a major price explosion. He notes that Bitcoin tends to move in sync with global liquidity cycles, indicating that past increases in global liquidity have had a positive impact on Bitcoin and the broader risk markets. Paul's analysis highlights a strong relationship between Bitcoin, global liquidity, seasonality, and macroeconomic factors, indicating significant moves in the cryptocurrency market ahead. His insights suggest that potential opportunities for investors are on the horizon. However, given the volatile nature of cryptocurrency markets, investors should remember that no one can accurately predict the future. Former U.S. President Donald Trump launched a cryptocurrency platform on Monday evening, September 6, 2024, alongside his children and businessmen, but provided few details. Little was revealed about the Trump family's cryptocurrency project during a 2-hour online presentation, other than an offer that allows people to buy digital tokens that give them voting rights on platform decisions. World Liberty Financial aimed to offer services based on so-called decentralized finance. This mechanism eliminates the need for an intermediary, such as a bank, to transact with a third party, according to the politically charged discussion. Decentralized finance, or DeFi, is based on so-called blockchain technology, which maintains a theoretically open but tamper-proof record of transactions. World Liberty Financial will allow users to lend or borrow cryptocurrencies, a service already offered by many platforms. The former president's son, Donald Trump Jr., called it the beginning of a financial revolution. During his presidency, Trump called cryptocurrencies a scam, but has since dramatically changed his stance, presenting himself as a pro-Bitcoin president if elected in November. Paul believes the stage is set for Bitcoin to explode towards its massive price target. He shares a chart that suggests global liquidity will increase over the next 3 months, and Bitcoin will follow suit. Paul shares another chart that suggests Bitcoin closely mirrors its price action from January 2023 to March 2024, when Bitcoin jumped around 350%, from $16,500 to around $74,000. According to the macro guru, conditions look ripe for a strong Bitcoin surge. Bitcoin is also repeating what it did last year, literally to perfection. So we have the macro overlay. The Federal Reserve is going to continue to taper its stimulus over time, and the other central banks are going to chime in. We have the seasonality. We have the global liquidity cycle. Looking at Paul's chart, he seemed to predict Bitcoin will skyrocket above $200,000 early next year.